I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I put the mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns out with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy, only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed and
What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. I want to make a little video real quick for you guys. Things are starting to show up from what we ordered from a few months ago for our paint area or prep area, whatever you want to call it. Mostly just going to be doing painting in there. So I want to show you guys real quick what I've been working on the last few days. It's huge, takes up a lot of room, but you'll see why I went with this setup rather than making an actual booth in here. So let's flip you guys around. So let me step back here so you guys can actually see the full. It's huge. It takes up a good probably 3/4 of the shop, maybe a little bit less, if you guys can understand from this video of how much space it does take up. So curtains started coming in, the extra pieces for the rails started coming in for the ceiling mount. Curtains, as you can tell, they've got filters. Each one has a filter in it, which is really nice. What that does is it allows intake into the room where you're going to be painting at. And you'll understand why I put it back in this corner in a minute once I get back there and show you guys everything. But that's really cool. Not many companies you can get them with filters in. That was one of the things I was looking for. Either do it myself or pre-order them to have them built that way, because you need in a paint room that you need airflow, which means you need an exhaust and intake, so that way air flows through there constantly, and that'll help your paint and everything dry, and just proper airflow for the area is what you need. So pretty cool stuff. Got this from akon.com. They make custom welding sheets, curtains, paint area, prep area curtains. You name it, you build it, you get your dimensions. Pretty cool. It's pretty hassle-free. Like I said, you just have to wait. I mean, it did take a few months for everything to get here for me to actually install this thing. Not too bad on the installation. Doing it by yourself is kind of a pain, but other than that, if you know basic hard, drill your holes and lining everything up and measuring everything a couple times, it's not a big deal. So pretty easy stuff. Let's take you in here. The curtain itself is actually really nice material. It's not that thin stuff you see in a lot of places that sell this stuff. It's actually really thick. I went with solid white because once I get some problem, I'm gonna add some lights on the walls in here, just like what I have on the ceiling, LEDs. So once I get some light in here, when you start painting things, it'll start to reflect against this white. Yeah, it will get dirty faster, but that's just part of your painting area. That's just something you got to live with, but it's really nice material. There's a filter on this end right here too for this area, and like I said, pretty simple. The only thing I really didn't like with this thing is this bend up here. I mean, it's not really it is a 90, but it's not really. Whoever made this either was really rushing it, but this was the pain in the ass part, because it was all twisted. I actually had to fabricate it a little bit better than what they had. But other than that, the straight areas, it glides really nice. You just, but once you get around to the bend right there, it does want to the roller bearings kind of hang up on you. I'll show you what I mean by that. I got some extras in this box here, like this one right here. It has these rollers that go inside this track, and these rollers spin. Well, the problem is the rollers are nylon. You can get metal ones for extra cost, but they do spin as well. but that hook, it spins so easily that once you get around this bend that's not really made correctly, it wants to shoot this thing sideways and it gets stuck sideways in there. So I'm gonna actually get these, I'm gonna take a couple of them to work, and I'm gonna weld this up right in between here and keep it from spinning and just make it one unit and weld it right there. That way it doesn't spin, it doesn't move, it's gonna be a fixed piece. So that's gonna be real easy to do. I'm just gonna have to do it on these because the idea is this one, it rolls around to meet this one. This one's already stretched out. So you gotta roll this one all the way out and meet it over there. So I'm just gonna do probably a good 12 or 15 of them up here. I'm gonna weld them. That way I can actually move it around this bend right here. But other than that, a few modifications, nothing really hard, just takes time. So let's go in here. The other thing is, once I get some lights in here, I'm gonna probably hang a couple on this wall and probably 1 or 2, maybe 3 on this wall too, of these 8-foot LEDs. Got those off Amazon. They're really, really nice. Have them up. You can buy a set of them for really, really cheap. I recommend doing these. I'm getting them off Amazon because they are more expensive in the stores. It's really nice. They interlink to each other. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put a couple here, a few here, and really brighten this room up, because that's the one thing you need in your paint area. You need the most light possible, and that's why I kind of did it this way. That way I have the ceiling light, and I'll have a couple extra on the walls. But you can just tell how big this area is. I mean, you can see the SRT right there. It's in here. I can honestly take that whole car apart again, put everything with the shell inside of here, and paint everything at once. And that's the idea I was going for, because I'm not, like I said, I mean, I'm not really wanting to do overalls, but I will get bike jobs, and you know, sometimes things I have to re-clear all at once. That way you don't have any tape lines, things like that. Or if I'm doing a candy job, I need to be able to paint everything at once to make sure it's all one solid color, not mismatched. So that was the idea of making this so big, and why I have rollers and a curtain rather than a fixed area for a metal booth is because I can pull these back and still use this space right here if I need to down the line, or if I'm building something, or if I need to prep something, I can still use this area. It's not really, you know, just a paint area. It can be multiple things. So pretty cool. And the other thing is, I've got it kind of rigged up here, is the exhaust fan. That came, got it installed, got it spray foamed, kind of built it. It was a 16-inch fan. It was like 22 inches by 22 inches, so it's not really big enough for this whole exhaust area for the attic, for the barn. But I made it work, kind of rigged it up, made my own thing, and spray foamed it, because I don't want anything to come in during the winter time or come out. You know, it's got a shutter system on this fan, so once it starts, those shutters will open up and blow everything out into the attic of this barn. So I didn't want any cold weather or anything, or any heat getting out of here. So I want to keep everything in this room. The heater's on the other side, so once I heat this area up when I go painting, I can literally have heat in here without it going out. If it's because it's all sealed up. So I've got it hooked up, kind of rigged up right now. The extension cord's kind of too long, but this is kind of like the idea. Once I get in here and start spraying, I literally just want to be able to come over here and plug this into the wall. And you can hear it kind of kick on. It's got 3 settings on it. You can kind of hear it. So it does get pretty loud, but for this area, it's gonna exhaust all these fumes out when you're in here painting. So that was the idea I'm going with, is to be able to walk in here, just plug it in. I'll fix all this later, but right now I just want to make sure it works. It's got 3 speeds on it. I've got it on the middle one. The high one it sounds like a jet, and it's just way too loud. It's too much for this area. So not only that, but another reason why I did this corner is because I can open these windows up, and depending on which way the wind's blowing that day, it'll either act like a intake or an exhaust as well, rather than just having these filters. Because like I said, you want as much airflow in your paint booth as possible. So with these windows being here, I can crack them open, and let's say if the wind's going north, it'll act like an exhaust system too, with everything, with the fan going, the intakes on the filter booth intakes. It'll act like an exhaust by itself with these windows open, which is really, really nice. Same way with this one, if it's blowing east or west, it'll act like an intake or an exhaust. So really, really cool. I don't think there's anything else other than that. It did take me a couple days to put up the curtain stuff just because I didn't have anything at once, and I was kind of figuring out how to do it. The exhaust fan was really, really simple. Just had to figure out how to mock up and seal it off correctly. Another thing with the exhaust, I'm not going to leave it open like this. I'm actually going to get some probably chicken wire and probably make my own little barrier here out of chicken wire. And then I'm going to do is I'm going to slip a filter in there. That way everything, you won't be able to see this when I'm done. It'll just be like a filter in the ceiling. And then I'm going to hook it probably to another chicken wire or something. I'm going to find something metal wise that'll actually stick, and I can bend it around these corners of the ceiling where all the green is. So that's my idea there, because this thing needs, even though if it's explosion proof, and that's one thing you need to look for in your paint room, make sure you buy an explosion proof fan. That'll help you. I mean, you're pretty much getting rid of all the fumes, so you want to make sure it doesn't explode on you. That's really big. So the explosion proof fan still needs a filter on it. So I'm going to build something right here. That way, you know, all this ugliness, you won't be able to see any of it. The filter will actually be in the way. So still got to figure that out, but it's not going to be a big deal because I know exactly what I'm going to do there. But other than that, pretty cool stuff. So you could tell by the room how big it is. I mean, I think it was like a 29 by 28 and a half, I believe, foot area that I closed in. And I'll show you real quick what I mean. You can actually open this up. And use it for whatever you want to use it for. So just by that little, you know, you just open that area up a little bit and you got your space back, which is really cool. That's why I kind of wanted to do this. I mean, down the line, once I start getting more busy, you know, stuff starts coming in, money starts flowing better, I can actually build a bigger building outside of here, like I was talking about in the first few videos I did. Build a bigger building than this where I can put a lift in it and things like that. And maybe just use this whole barn as a, you know, as a booth itself. Because, I mean, it's big enough. I mean, it's really too big, but, you know, I can use this as a paint room or whatever booth as itself, as the building as a whole, and move my other stuff into the other, or vice versa. I can use, you know, this building for everything and put a paint room in the other, you know, the other barn, and keep everything in here nice and clean. But I'm thinking I'm probably down the line maybe made this whole, if I do that, I'll probably make this whole barn just a paint room / paint booth, since I'm gonna be already spraying in here. The walls are gonna kind of get ugly from spraying. You know, the floors are gonna get dirty like they're already green. And from our wedding, you can see all the handprints on stuff all over them. So it's really not clean right now. And once you start spraying and shit, things are gonna get stuck to the walls. They're gonna get stuck to the floor. But I'm gonna have to either buy pig mat or, you know, like 90, spray it on the walls, try to keep them clean, or do something with them to keep this area clean. Watering it down will help too, but you really don't want any water in your paint. But I don't like dragging hose through water anyways. But I'll figure something out when the time comes. I might have to just tape things off different, and just keeping everything nice and white and clean in here. As you can tell from spraying the neon, you can see the green up there. That's how dirty it's going to get really quick. And that's just with spraying one car. You know, it is a big car, but it makes the floors really dirty. So I'll figure it out. But other than that, I just want to show you guys a little bit of updates. So take care, and I'll see you in the next video.